Take a shot every time I'm in a new location.
It's okay, I changed locations today.
I like it. I just never have books behind me. Like, literally, like, we should make this podcast like a drinking game. And every time I change a location, you have to take a shot. You have to take like seven because that's how I feel. I feel like I've taken seven shots. This is the like problem of like living in probably three different places like at once at all times.
And, that is okay. That's life,
Hear me.
That's showbiz, baby.
I proceed to be so ingrained in my Hermione fanfiction on the plane that I spill a drink on him. So yeah,
There's people who like Houston. I'm not one of them. It's so embarrassing to get married.
I didn't like the pig that was walking on two legs. Hermione needs. I'm projecting on Hermione.
But then we also found out she killed a bunch of people.
Happens. Is now one of the turtle people from Mario.
Yeah, a vampire always makes their way into these books. I'm deep in self-published Kindle Unlimited.
It's just a Kylo Ren fanfic. Is what that is. Oh, loved the grandma. I almost crashed my car listening to this book. Like,
So I'm not allowed to listen to audiobooks in the car anymore.
freakazoids. When did we join the mafia?
There's 600 pages.
Are you kidding? Stalking is the theme of like this month. She plays a little freak so well. So it's like a Death Eater situation. Love that. But playing with a worm. Not these guys.
I think the CIA is afraid of your scare tactics. What the fuck is this girl's name? DV anti-awareness, if you will. How's California?
Warm.
Oh, God.
I feel
That's nice.
pale.
It's cold here.
But it's just the lighting. I just like get lighting challenge.
Yeah, I also moved because my window is here and my bookcase sits right next to my window, so I feel like this is better lighting. Anyways, yeah, we have not chit-chatted in a while.
No.
One-on-one. We haven't potted since November 8th.
That's a long time.
It's December 20th, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah. I think life just really got the better of us, which is fine. Obviously, no one's gonna live or die if this podcast doesn't get posted. But like, and if you did die because this podcast didn't get posted, rip. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm putting an in memoriam over this.
Yeah, we're doing. Yeah, that'd be really fucking funny, like the Oscars.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I have some exciting news for you. Guess what I watched last night?
What?
The Kingsman.
With Harris Dickinson. And it was good, right?
It was great.
Yeah. He's so hot in that. Rip him, though. In memoriam.
They don't make movies like they used to. Even a few years ago. Because that was like 2015 or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters and was gagged at that.
Maybe I'm just not watching the right movies, but I don't know. I just feel like nothing's exciting anymore.
Yeah, nothing has that level of like, because it's a spy movie. It's very James Bond, but like 8,000 times better. Because, well, Harris Dickinson is in The King's Man, and Taron Egerton is in The Kingsman. They're different, but the same.
Yeah, I only watched the first one like that came out.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get to the second one here in a minute.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. I only had so much time yesterday.
No, that's okay. That's a good one.
I had to go to the eye doctor.
She has an eye problem.
I have a cyst on my eyeball. Did you know you could get those? No. So yeah, I guess it can be caused like if you like poke your eyeball or something. But I got mine from allergies. Like you get bumps in your like eyes for allergies. I had no idea. My doctor's like looking at my eye. I've had this bump in my eye for probably 3 weeks now, and I finally found time to go to the doctor. And she's like, "Yeah, like, do you seasonal allergies?" I was like, "Yeah, but not right now." And she's like, "Really?
Really, you do?
Because there's bumps all in your eyes, which means you have seasonal allergies." And I said, "Oh, okay.
So yes,
great, thank you." So I got she called them their eye drops. She's like, "It's like Zyrtec for your eyes." So we're gonna hope it clears up. She said it should just go away.
Hope and pray.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, enough about me. What have you been up to? I really haven't heard from you. I've been in my own little world.
That's okay. I flew home. That was a long travel day. Stopped in Dallas. That was weird.
I did not know you were going to do
I
that.
didn't know either until the day of, and I was like, oh, I knew I had a layover somewhere because it's impossible to fly from Raleigh to LA in like a nonstop flight. There's usually only like one, and they're expensive. So I had a layover, and I thought it was in Phoenix. It was
Mm.
not. That's on the way back. I stop in Phoenix. But yeah, I stopped in Dallas, got some Chick-fil-A at the Love Field Airport. It was delicious. Really embarrassing story, actually. So I'm at the RDU airport, and I'm waiting at the gate to get on the plane to fly to Dallas. And so on Southwest you line up like a cow, and then they like
Yeah.
cattle call you in by your number, and then
Sheep that we
they
are.
brand you and they give you a tag and they name you like Bluebell or something. You know how it works at Southwest.
And we're on our way.
They load me in, whatever. A few people in front of me, I see this really cute guy. He looks great. That's all I'm going to say.
No
But I
thoughts.
feel like you could picture what he looks like.
I'm
Yeah.
there. I'm sat.
He's with his dad, though. And I was like, So our dear friend Maddie is like, I dare you to sit next to him. And I was like, bet. And I wasn't going to do it. Because I'm like, that's
Oh.
so not me. I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? I sit next to him.
What seat were you
Well,
in?
so him and his dad were in the aisle. Like the two aisles.
And you
I
were
was
in
in the
the
window,
window.
yeah. And then fate came into my little greedy fingers. His dad scooted over to the window and he scooted into the middle. And I was like, cha-ching, wingman dad. I proceed to be so ingrained in my Hermione fan fiction on the plane that I spill a drink on him.
Oh no. Oh. And now you're married.
No, yeah, now we've been together for 7 years. That would be crazy. No. I found out that he was actually not going to Dallas. He had a layover in Dallas because he was going to go to Houston. So that scared me a little bit.
Yeah, ew.
Because I'm like, are you from
Big
there?
Houston haters
Yeah.
here.
Are you from there or are you like visiting? Hopefully visiting.
I feel like he's probably from there, but he moved. As
Hoping.
you should.
Yeah.
Out of Houston.
So
Sorry,
yeah.
there's people who like Houston. I'm not one of them.
No, never. No. So yeah, that was my travel story. It was really funny.
That's really funny, actually. I can't believe you ended up sitting next to him.
Yeah. I was like, I'm in this kind of headspace right now of kind of like, well, fuck it. Like, it's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
It's just a seat on a plane. I was going to have to sit somewhere.
True.
Stupid story.
Incredible. I saw this funny TikTok this morning, and you know the trend that's going around that's like the Muppet, and people are putting their like horror stories over it. And truly one of my favorite trends.
Yeah.
But one girl was saying she like got the whole thing. She's like got diagnosed with leukemia, so she decided she was gonna go travel to Europe because she was like, I'm dying.
I think I saw this one.
And that's like not like really, that's just like why she's on the plane.
Yeah.
We never touch base on that again.
Yeah.
She's alive. She's still on TikTok.
Yeah.
Not sure how she's doing. And her mom was like, you're gonna meet your husband on the plane.
I did see this one. This is hilarious.
She gets on the plane, and then what was the first? Oh, she saw these cute guys in line with her to get on the plane, and there was like two of them, and they ended up sitting next to each other in front of her, and they were gay.
Yeah,
and they were a couple.
Yeah, she's like, oh my god, like this cute. Like I was still in my row. Like no one had sat next to me yet. Like I was in the window. And then like one of the cute guys gets on the plane and then like sits there in front of me, and I was like, oh my god, yes, like this is crazy. Then like the second cute guy that she sees him start walking on the plane. He sits down and then they kiss. The two guys like that. It swiped over and it was like, and they kissed, and it was so funny.
And then, like, I guess she was on her way home from the Europe trip, and her mom was like, "This time you will meet him."
Yeah.
And so she does meet this like cute guy in the at the gate again, and she's like, "Okay," like they're chatting, they're like flirting,
Yeah.
and she runs to the bathroom, and she goes to the bathroom right before you go to the restroom before you
Yeah.
get on your plane, duh. And then she's sitting there talking to him, and she's like, "My butt is on fire." So she goes back to the bathroom to figure out what's going on, and apparently they were cleaning the toilets with vinegar, and she's like highly allergic to vinegar, so she has welts breaking out on her undercarriage.
Oh my God.
And so she like fixes it the best she can and takes like a she said Benadryl IV. I guess she has like intense
Yeah.
allergy problems. Like she seems to have a lot going on, and
Mm.
you know, she's just a girl. Like
Yeah.
what is she going to do? And so she's like kind of out of it on like Benadryl, seeing the Hat Man. She goes, "I owe him money." So
So
she
do
gets
I.
on the plane, and like she's kind of like a mess. Like she's like, "I cried." Like you can tell I cried. And the guy ends up sitting next to her on the plane, and then like him and the flight attendant are so worried about her. They're like, "Are you
She's
okay?"
like,
And she ends up telling the flight attendant everything that happened in the bathroom, like why she's like breaking out and welts on her ass.
yeah.
And the flight attendant's like, "Oh my god, come here." And she like puts her in a first class seat and like takes care of her, and like she like
Oh.
ends up like sleeping on the plane. But she's like, it was mortifying because like the guy was sitting there when I told the story, and she's like, and I'm now 3 husbands and a rash.
Yeah, wow.
So things could have been worse.
Things could have been worse. I really just spilled ginger ale on this man. I felt so bad. He was sleeping too.
Did you
I
notice?
don't know.
Oh well.
There's a rock on my finger. That'd be crazy.
I haven't heard from you in like a week, and you're just like, I'm
I'm married.
married.
Yeah.
And that's fully how like y'all are never gonna hear about a man, and then I'm gonna be like, guys, we got married.
Yeah, exactly.
Wedding invitation.
Yeah, I've already.
So
No, like the hard launch is going to be like the wedding photo.
yeah. And you might get an invite to the wedding if you know me.
Maybe.
And that'll be a shocker. Like that letter in the mail. What?
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
going to be like,
And no photo of him till you get there.
yeah, like the wedding, like
Like
the
you show
save
up
the
to the
date,
wedding,
no photos of us.
no photo. No
No.
photo. You show up, that's when you figure it out.
Exactly.
It's good.
The
It's
hard
good.
launch
Yeah.
of the century. And there's actually only going to be like 4 people at my wedding, so.
Exactly. I'm going to a wedding in February,
Yes.
and it's it's not a wedding. They already okay, I got very confused because they said they were having a private ceremony, and then like the thing I got invited to is the
Right.
reception. Pretty common. My family does that.
Yeah.
Um so whatever. But then I saw the couple post the like they got married apparently like last week.
Oh,
Like officially, like signed the
right, right,
paperwork,
right,
like
right.
had it like it they had pictures of like their friends and like their bridal parties.
Yeah.
Um
I know someone who did that.
and I so happy for them. Looks so good. But like I looked at I was with one of my friends. I was with Maddie who was here,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, it's so embarrassing to get married. She goes, what? And I was like, imagine just like, I don't know, just like embarrassing to get married. She goes, no, it's not. And I was like,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, it is.
Because like imagine like you're standing, with your friends and family and then you have to like kiss your husband.
And you know what's funny? I love attention.
Me too.
I love to perform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My wedding type 5.
My wedding, a type 5. They're my vows.
Yeah, yeah, but it's actually like yeah. I
Yeah,
take
they're like,
my there's a mic. So you know how like the maid of honor like will take the bride's like flowers when she's, I actually just hand you a mic considering
yeah.
I'm your maid of honor. I don't have to be.
No,
I'm just
there's no flowers. It's just
yeah.
Mike.
Everyone has a mic.
Oh, and then we're gonna spotlight you, and you have to give a type 5.
Yeah, random. You don't know you're doing it though.
Yeah, and you might not get called on, so
Yeah.
get ready. And if no one laughs, execute.
Murdered. There's a sniper.
Red dot right
Yeah.
here. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so
Back to our book podcast.
since we haven't talked about books in a month, what have you been reading this past month? I'm pulling up my Fae books. I don't know.
That's what I was doing this morning. I was like, so what actually did I read? Well, I actually just finished a book this morning. And I really, really, really highly recommend it. But that's also because I'm an idiot and I don't see plot twists coming. And this had me gagged. Like, there were multiple plot twists, but the one at the end, in like literally the last chapter, I was, oh, oh, so that's where we're going. I'm not happy about it at all. Like, literally not happy about it.
What were you reading?
Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. Um,
Okay.
I do recommend it. I do recommend going in completely blind. Um, because that's what I did. Because I now get all of my reading recommendations from my new favorite booktuber, book talker, um, Emmy Rossum. I love her so much.
Mm.
And she's a big like fantasy romantasy reader. Um, and like I trust her so much that if she's like read this book going blind, I'm like, okay, like I will because it's gonna be good. This one did take me a little bit to get into.
Is it long?
It's pretty long. It was like 490 pages, but I read it on my Kindle. The chapters are so short, and once you actually get into it,
Mm.
you get like 10 chapters in. It's like bam, 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 bam. Like you don't
Yeah.
even realize that you're going through chapters because you're just reading. It was almost like Quicksilver to me because I thought Quicksilver went really fast.
Yeah.
Um so I read that. It was really good. The synopsis that I will give is there's these two ruling there's these two groups of people. Um, one of them is the Kenta, and they live on land, and the Kenta banish the Ahala to the sea. So they're kind of like pirates. That's how I envision
I fuck
them.
with that.
And they
Yeah.
are banished to the sea. They have to live on water, and they can only come on land like for like a little bit, like during this like market. But basically, the story follows this girl who is part of the like sea group, the pirate people, and Mr. Hottie, who's part of the land, and I can't say anything else because it genuinely will give away all
It's
the plot twists.
okay,
But
yeah.
it's
Like Romeo and Juliet, Land and Sea, Pirates, Jack
more
Sparrow.
like enemies, though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Jack Sparrow, Keira Knightley, but they end up together.
yeah, you could say
And it's
that.
hot.
Yeah, I was also getting kind of like Frozen vibes, like they're
Yeah,
like
okay.
the kingdoms that they talk about, like on the land,
Yeah.
kind of give like Frozen. I think it's because one of the characters in it, very, very, very minor character. He's in it for maybe a chapter. His name is Sven, and I was like, Frozen.
Ah,
So, but like, I don't know. It was
yoo-hoo!
big summer
Big summer
blowout. It was just
blowout.
giving Frozen. I don't know why. Like
Yeah,
Frozen,
that's
but
nice.
like
Sorry.
also like very like pirate. I don't know. It was great. Um, and I think I don't know if this will be like a trilogy or a duology or whatnot, but there better be another book because this one just ended. Like it just well, that's it.
What am I supposed to do with that?
I read. Oh, I bought a cowboy romance when Lucy and I were at the romance bookstore.
Yes.
It was good, classic. It was about a Dallas Stars player, which woo, that really got me. That's why I bought the book actually. And it was good. It did the job. I can't wait to continue the series. I think it's going to be 3 in the series.
Okay.
Um, read Animal Farm at Supreme Leader Broski's request.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine. I didn't like the pig that was walking on 2 legs. That's horrifying. What else did I read? Oh my god. Okay, so I also read Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which is continuing. It's the other series to the Strawberry one. It's like the
Yeah,
original
it's
series.
honestly yours.
Yes. This one gagged. Like this book had me not putting it down. Like I could not put it down. The couple in this book, Rose and Connor, are the new Blueprint. They're kind of everything to me in my brain is like Hermione coded, but they're very Hermione coded, like very rivals. Like they rival each other like mentally, which
Okay.
is something that a lot of people, when I fight with them about why I think Hermione and Draco should end up together, is because they're like, but no, like Ron like loves her and like cares about her so much. No, but Ron doesn't match her mentally. They're not on the same level. Hermione needs, I'm projecting on Hermione. Hermione needs someone to match her.
She's an intellectual
Right,
being.
exactly. She can read. She's literate. And Ron is not literate.
I'm convinced he can't
No.
read.
But that book was so good. I was a little confused at first because I did skip the third one that's technically in the reading order. So I read 1 and 2 and then skipped to 4 basically, but you don't need to read them like that. It's just recommended for the flow of the story because this is about a different like couple. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It worked. It was fine. It's basically set like you're watching a reality TV show. It's very interesting. Um so
Oh.
that was fantastic. New blueprint unlocked. Um I guess I read Sky Shade, but that was November, but we
I
haven't talked about that.
I haven't finished
And
it.
that's okay.
I stopped reading it. I can't get into it. Who said
No,
that?
it was a little hard for me too. It was a little hard because it felt like
What
we were
I'm
doing too
really
much.
Yeah, what I'm really struggling with is really enjoyed Light Lark. I'm pretty sure Nightbane came out less than a month after we read Light Lark.
Yeah.
Like we just somehow stumbled upon it at the right time. And so and something that Alex Astor does is she just picks up right where she left off.
Yeah.
And I mean, not a drop of explanation.
No, just like,
She said, "You read the last one."
yeah.
I did, apparently. Um, but then it's been a few months since Nightbane came out, so I have no idea what's happening. I do remember Nightbane. I liked the flip back and forth from flashback to modern age, but we met a lot of weird random side characters that aren't super relevant.
Mm-hmm.
However, did move the plot along.
Yeah.
So like the oracles and stuff like that. So, but then she keeps referencing them or being like this destiny or whatever. Um, and I have it behind me.
I have none of my books, so.
I'm on page 74. Like,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, you haven't even gotten to, because I posted on Fable and I was like, okay, Oro had me in the third half.
I did see that.
He kind of got me like,
No idea what's happening.
I'm like, oh, I see you, Oro. I see you.
So,
That's like much
I think I've
later.
just, yeah, I've also been in like, You Were Here, and I think I read Love Theoretically when you were here, and then I had a week off and I was trying to get into this, and then my other friend was here, and like when I'm entertaining people, I don't have as much like downtime, so I'm not trying like this. I need to sit down.
Yeah.
I need to wash the information over me. I need to appreciate the art.
Yeah.
Um, we're just not there yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Even though I was really looking forward to this book because of the way Nightbane ended,
Yeah.
because he's like my wife. But then we also found out she killed a bunch of people. Happens.
Happens. I just like, I think the book was making me kind of mad because I was like, it felt like it was, we were like chugging along, but the train wasn't moving.
We're still in the Midwest.
Right. Like we haven't gone very far, and that's okay. I think it was also her announcing that there's going to be 2 more books in this series. I was like, but why? Like, I'm excited. Like, this is like my favorite fantasy series. But why?
Put me out of my misery.
Just tell
Like,
me what's going on.
that's interesting. 2 more. And I didn't even finish this. Oh, God.
Yeah. And this one ends on another, like, and then
Yeah, I'm
it's gonna
sure.
pick up literally like right with that same line. And I'm gonna be like, but it's but because I finished this one, I read this one in 5 days
Freaking
probably,
hell.
maybe
Yeah.
exactly a week, around a week. I'm now going to have to wait like a year or something for the next one, and I'm going to be confused.
I'm as Onyx Storm approaches its release date,
Mm,
I'm really worried about that.
me too.
I am gonna read it.
I'll read it too.
I'm not as
I'm not
excited.
excited. I don't really care.
Although that does seem to be a pretty like widespread
Yeah,
consensus in the book community is like no one's like some people are really excited, but like some people are like, if I have to read another like 600 pages where they're just fighting,
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. I've had a lot of people tell me they're not going to read it. So that's interesting. I am what I need to do is I need to go back and I need to find a YouTube book talk video
Mm-hmm.
that just does an in-depth review or not like a recap
Yeah,
of Lightlark and Nightbane, and then I'm gonna need to find one that does one for
Fourth
um
Wing.
first fourth wing before I yeah, that's gonna have to happen because I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
I don't really. All I know is that Zayden, that's his name, right? Yeah, is now one of the turtle people from Mario. It's literally all I know. I
Scared.
don't really care. I don't like Violet at all, like as a main protagonist. She's just like a shrimp little bitch.
Well, at first I
Sorry,
was
I gotta
like,
lean.
okay, oh,
Lean with it,
there we
rock with it.
Bean, Bean. Sorry,
Fiend,
not the same song,
fiend.
but
No, that's so, yeah.
um no, at first I liked Violet because she was like, no one wants me to, or like they wanted her to do it, but everyone thought she'd fail. She's like little, and she's like, fuck that. But then she was like, yeah, Dane can read memories only by touching people's faces, and he's like, and he touches your face every time he sees you, and she's like, yeah, and he's like, are we connecting the dots? And she was like, no. Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Kill yourself. Um, so yeah, do you read anything else?
Well, I listened to a particular book.
Okay, let me catch up to you here. So in the month of November, I read Quicksilver,
Oh, yeah. I have
and
questions. Not
I
about.
read that in 3 days.
That's crazy. It was a good book, though, right?
Or 4 days. Oh, incredible!
That's what fantasy should be. That's what fairies and
Yeah,
fae fantasy should be. That's what Cruel Prince should have been.
yeah. It was like you said, fast paced, but like not in an overwhelming way, and we're moving the plot
Right.
along way. I did, something that really frustrates me in books is not knowing what's going on, and I mean that in a way of they're like what's the name of the main character?
Saris something?
Oh yeah, okay.
Saris Fane, is that it?
Yes.
Hmm.
First of all, girl, you think you're not in a fantasy novel?
Girl, your name is Saris.
Hello. Um, she doesn't know anything that's like goes to the
She
Feyland
gets
and is like,
transported to the Feyland and she's like, "What the hell?"
and what annoys me is like, yes, she wants answers to things, but she's also kind of just like, it doesn't matter. Like, I just need to know this one answer, and I'm like, no, learn everything. Like, I have a feeling this is gonna come in handy later.
Yeah.
Um, So it's not that like I'm confused because like the book doesn't make sense. It's that the author's not giving you information because the main character isn't getting information. And that pisses me off because I'm a very naturally curious and inquisitive person
Yeah.
and I like to know everything. So that did frustrate me a little bit, but I did like the concept. And yeah, vampire always makes their way into these books.
Yeah, it was giving like I kept imagining it. Remember when they were like at the border and there's like that it's like they're on the ice or whatever and there's like the moat that runs through the only thing in my brain that I was picturing is like the Breaking Dawn 2 Volturi fight.
Yes,
That's exactly what I was picturing. Like that. Like him, Mr. Volturi himself.
exactly. Yeah, so vampire media, again, I'm very into it. I know a lot. Just it's just interesting. Like I don't, in my mind, like vampire is not like in the Fey world, but they keep bringing it in. I've seen a lot of like
Yeah.
fantasy works that put vampires in it, huh?
That's easy.
And not in like, oh, they're like, there's like the reference to like, oh, they drink blood or something to stay alive, but they're still like a fairy. It's like they're vampires. They fully admit it. They're like, that's a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not Damon Salvatore,
Huh?
huh? You ever seen The Vampire
No.
Diaries?
People keep
So
telling me to watch it, and I am so bad with
I actually
television.
don't think you would like it.
Oh, well,
Dare I say? You would hate Elena,
I don't know who that
the
is.
main
Oh.
character, the main
Yeah, I
girl,
just keep
who's like
hearing, like,
in the love.
you should watch it. And I'm just like, I'm not huge
I
on
started
vampire
it.
media. I watched Twilight with you and Maddie for the first time
But that's a
because that's a
cultural
cultural moment.
cornerstone. Yeah.
And like that, vampires are like funny. They're not funny, but like
It,
it was like the
we
2000s. We
can.
can laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Um. Anyways, love Quicksilver. I give it a 4.75.
Mm, that's good.
So I enjoyed it. Then I read The Heiress for book club, which is fine. It's like a weird murder
Right.
mystery. Not whatever. I recommend it, but
Hmm.
eh. Then I read Book Lovers by Emily Henry.
I have so many questions.
Yes. Wait, did you have questions about Quicksilver?
Not. I mean, I just wanted to know if you enjoyed it, which
Oh yeah, exactly. Loved it. Okay, Book Lovers. I saw TikTok this morning. I woke up and I scrolled my phone, as one does. Before this ban takes place, I'm trying to ingest some more media,
mm-hmm.
and someone was talking about like, oh, there's a difference between, there's a big divide in the book talk community. It's like if you grew up reading Wattpad versus like you just started reading and like whatever. But I think it's a spectrum. Okay, over here we have people who grew up reading Wattpad, read AO3 now, like yeah. On the other end of the spectrum, we have people who started reading in the last 2 to 3 years and they picked up Colleen Hoover.
I agree. I think that is the spectrum.
In the middle, where I sit, is I've been reading my whole life. I never got into Wattpad. I'm not a fanfic AO3 girly. I don't know. However, I'm deep in self-published Kindle Unlimited,
She
which is
really
a
is.
depraved, scary place to be. But it's not as like over here, but like I'm not reading Colleen Hoover and I'm not recommending Emily Henry to you. Like, get away from me. Um
Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from because like if you're on the AO3 Wattpad side, you dip into the Kindle
mhm.
depravedness
Mhm.
because sometimes I will, but you can if you are over here, you don't really jump into the Colleen Hoover.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Although like I'll read an Emily Henry. I'll read a Carly Fortune. Like
Right. I will just not.
but but I know they are the hallmark movies of books.
Right.
Like, you know, I'm aware. Okay, so I'm not asking a lot of this book. Um yeah, I gave it a 3 because it wasn't bad. Like nothing was wrong with the book. It just wasn't great.
Yeah.
Basically like this high hoity-toity book publisher girl who lives in New York, her sister drags her to this like small town that like her favorite book was based off of, and then this other hoity-toity publisher that, or like agent or something, is like that the other New York girl, they fight. They don't like each other in New York, but they end up in this town, and she's like, "You're from this small town," and he's like, "Unfortunately." And he runs his like parents' bookstore, and he like is gonna quit his job in New York, and then something happens, and they like don't quit, or she gets a publishing job, and everyone's happy, and yeah, I don't know.
I just
It,
I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day and I was like, I think in like the new year, I want to challenge myself again to read books that are like out of my comfort zone of like I'll try to pick up like a thriller book or like a mystery or something because it's like I don't really I was talking to Maddie about this because she asked me if I've read The Housemaid and I was like No, sorry, dog.
But
I
yeah.
don't read books unless they have a huge romance plot. So, um, I don't read mystery unless it has a romance in it. You know, like Inheritance Games is a there. It's a mystery series. I'm reading it for the love triangle, and we all know it. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
so. I was like, oh, what if I like challenge myself? And then I was like, maybe I should try to read another Emily Henry, like one that's more like kind of well loved. Because like I read Funny Story, but it had just
Mhm.
come out like literally the month that I read it. So there wasn't a lot of discourse on it. It was just like, oh, Emily Henry's coming out with a new book. Hooray. But I,
Is that the one they're filming with
no, they're
what's
filming
his
People We
face?
Meet on Vacation with Tom Blythe.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm like, oh, maybe I should read that one. And then like when it comes out, I can be like, oh, I read the book. I don't want to ruin it for myself though, because I'll see the movie because Tom Blythe is in it.
Yeah.
But Emily Henry, get your paws off the media. I think she doesn't write well. And my mom was saying that too because I lent her Funny Story, and I was like, read this. Tell me what you think. And this was like her major in school, like book literature. And she's like, this girl writes like it's a creative writing assignment in like seventh grade. And I was like, exactly. And there is a time and place for that because it's just easy media to
Yeah,
consume.
it's a Hallmark
But I don't
movie.
like when
It
people
was made on a $2,000 budget.
exactly. And that's great. And if you want that, congratulations. There's a lot of media out there for you. And sometimes I agree. I don't want something that's going to like make me think or make me learn a new magic system. And I just want something that like
Mhm.
numbs my brain. But that's where self-published KU comes in. Like I I also just don't like people who like praise Emily Henry for being like this like wordsmith. Like that she
Bold claim.
like there are people out there and they're influencers and they're famous and they probably get paid for doing what they do, which is great.
Mm.
But like she's not like she's like I don't know like I do just have to read more of her stuff and see like okay, did I just get like a really bad first impression or like is she just not my cup of tea?
I don't I just don't think it's I don't think she's that great. I don't know. She's fine. I think it's the same with Colleen Hoover. Like I have serious qualms with her and her tropes,
Right.
but people are still gonna like her. I just know to avoid you.
Yeah.
So, well, and then I read Love Theoretically.
Yes.
That's really good. Yeah, I
Yes.
would say it was better than Not in Love.
Yeah. That's my number one. Like
So,
I I recently reread it because I was like I need a hit. And it boggles my mind that that book is probably one of my favorite books of all time. And I don't know why because it's just not like it's nothing that I thought I would be interested in. And here I am like I'll read it again right now. Like
um, it did make me giggle. So I've did not continue on to higher academia. Well, I have a college degree, but like I didn't
yeah.
keep going. And um, so I know some people were talking about it, and they were like, "It's this is so accurate to the politics and grad and like PhD
Yeah.
programs and stuff like that." Um, so that's good. Thought that was interesting, but I do like Allie Hazelwood because I feel like it's like a classic rom-com
Yeah.
where it's like we all know who the villain is, we can all kind of see the plot twist coming, and we all know they're gonna end up together. But it's not like so predictable and cheesy the whole time that you're like, ew, it's good, it's real, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Her like
Um, but it's safe.
it's safe. Yeah, I feel safe. And we know I don't really enjoy like Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain were fine. and I enjoyed them, and I'm glad I read them. But something about Love Theoretically itches a spot in my brain. I think it's just because the those two characters feel the most real. They feel the most complex and thought out. Whereas like Bio Ninja is like he's just it's just a Kylo Ren fanfic, is what that is, actually. So
Love Kylo Ren.
yeah, I mean, fine.
Not that much though.
Not enough to write a fanfic.
And
And
publish
publish
it.
it. Well, she was writing on AO3 for a while, Miss
Yeah, no,
Hazelwood.
I can see that.
Yeah, so mad respect. Mad
Yeah, I'm not in AO3, but
respect.
I'm reading the authors that were on
Right.
AO3, but like we're here now.
I just really want to know, because I saw your review on Love Theoretically, and you said, I understand why this is Rachel's favorite book. And I just want to know what made you think that.
Damn, that was a long time. I also, for the month of November, I read all those books, and then at the end of the month, I went back and reviewed them. So like that's
That's what I did
funny that you
today
say
for like
that.
December, because I was like, I haven't done anything. I'm just curious. You don't have to have an
I
answer.
think it was just that like um the characters weren't cringy, like they're very real. I just liked the main guy character,
Mm-hmm.
and he just felt like someone you would
I know, I
like.
need him. Yeah. Yeah. That's my dream
So,
man.
um I too want a 45 story apartment with all glass windows.
Yeah. I
Hello.
was like, his apartment sounds like a dream.
So, yeah, I really liked his grandma. She was my favorite
Oh,
character.
loved the grandma.
Love the grandma. Love the grandma. Well, guess what that brings us to? Things got
Things
dark,
got
and things have
really dark.
continued to be dark.
Yeah.
I got things to tell you about that you've never even thought
I know
of.
you read that
I'm
series. I
scared.
found it. I was thinking about reading it.
Don't do it. It's so
I'm not going to. The idea appeals to me. And I'm so glad that you send me her videos. But like, she basically tells the whole story that I don't need to read it, which is funny. But I'm like, kind of wish I got to
and
experience it for myself.
yeah. We'll get into that in a
Yeah.
second. I'll tell you where everything went wrong.
Per.
Yeah. So, but when Rachel came and visited me, she brought me a gift, and that gift was lights out.
It was. My lights are
And
out. I have no brain cells left because. So I bought 2 copies of that book because I was like, Lucy and I are going to read it together and it's going to be so funny and we're going to talk about it on the podcast. Lo and behold, I end up listening to the audiobook of this atrocity. And the audiobook was actually really good. Because they had like a man and a woman doing it. So it felt like
yeah,
I was
like
watching a movie. I almost crashed my car listening to this book. Like, bad idea.
that's like when I listened to the Left Right game, and they're like, you probably shouldn't. There's this audiobook podcasting company production studio that makes stories that are like audio only,
Mm-hmm.
and they make them in surround sound, and literally before every time they start, they're like, don't drive while listening to this because you will hear sounds behind you and you will crash your car. And guess what I did? I almost that.
Yeah.
So I'm not allowed to listen to audiobooks in the car anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's besides the point. Yeah, I did not listen to the audiobook. I'm not an audiobook girly, as I previously stated, and I've heard good things, and I understand why if you've listened to the audiobook you really like this book or you would recommend it to someone.
I don't know. Yeah.
I did not read it. I didn't listen. I only read. I would not recommend this book to someone. I'm so sorry. It was bad.
I wouldn't either. I would recommend it to a very specific type of person. Like, I made our friend Maddie listen to it in the car with me because I was like, you got to at least just hear a little bit of this. And then she was so invested that we ended up listening to the whole book essentially together. Because I read the first 6 chapters like physically, and I was like, I don't think I can get into those. The pages are so long that the chapters feel really long, even though they're not. But I can't do that.
There was a lot of just backstory.
Yeah, and like a lot of downtime. of like her just being at work and him watching her on the like hospital cameras that he's hacked into. Which I was taking
No, do you
notes.
No, my review for this book has no plot. Dot dot dot. Raw. Next question.
That was funny. I just wrote my review this morning and I just said freakazoids, all caps, and then I said listen to the audiobook. Cuz these people were horrendous. I'm glad they found each other cuz they really like when TikTok said like anybody going to match my freak, like they found someone.
I love I love when people are like, I love reading books like this, but if someone did this to me in real life, I'd call the cops.
Right. She's like, "Wait, this is okay."
You'd you'd be in a state penitentiary. Like get away from me. Um yeah, something sorry. What really annoyed me is that this was actually two books. This book was two books.
Yes.
There was the first plot of him like stalking her and then like falling in love, and then randomly there was the second book of like creepy stalker dude they accidentally kill and then have a weird mafia
Yeah,
tie-in.
I was listening and I was like, when did this become part, like when did we join the mafia? And I love like a mafia romance book, but like this just took it in a new
This was
space.
giving KU self-publish.
There's going to be a second one.
I
I'm
know.
not reading it or listening or consuming any of that media.
So yeah, it just like I don't know, like, and I know a lot of people were saying, oh, I like that even though he's like creepy but not creepy because he's like goofy, or it's like clearly kind of all a joke, it's for funsies, and he gives off that goofy vibe. I was like, I don't know, just like why.
I also noticed
Oh,
something. Sorry. I just noticed something like going off that like goofy vibe. The amount of times that they were like, my boyfriend this or like my girlfriend this was like
mm,
insane. I think maybe because I was listening, so I could hear it. But it was like, I put my clothes on the floor next to my girlfriend's. It's like, you could have just said, I put my clothes on the floor. Why do we have to keep reiterating that you guys are dating? It's
I
very
think
clear.
I didn't
No one was questioning your
catch that.
relationship.
No, no. No, I just this is something I really hated about the book is the epilogue, the last scene. Not the last scene, but they're on their little like vacation in the
That was
woods.
actually painful to get through. I was like trying to pack and like do laundry, and I was like, I actually had to speed it up to like 1.7 or something. I was like, God, have to get through this. I cannot listen to them run in the woods. This is
It's
awful.
not even that they're running in the woods, like whatever. I saw that coming. They talked about it earlier in the book. It was that he proposed after.
In a swamp.
And you want to know why I don't like it? Because it's giving pick me girl.
Right.
Because she's like, I don't care that like I was just in the woods and I can't like so
No, it's bad.
I don't care that we just got freak nasty. I'm covered in dirt, half naked, just looking depraved, and this man proposed to me.
Right.
Yes. And then we go home and we talk about our cats like they're
I
kids.
hate I hated the fact that he just immediately assumed that like her cat is like my son. He was like our son. You met you actually haven't even met yet. He's still your
You know
stalker.
what's
Why is your
you know
cat his son?
you know what's crazy? It's like I get it. Like we can have a little silly romance, but like you don't know anything about each other. All you know is that you have like the same preferences.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough to build a
No,
relationship? I know I'm like getting into this like it's never that serious, but I'm
it
like
is.
that's just it's what makes it unbelievable is that I'm like I can tell you don't have anything in common.
Right.
Um Also, who was saying this to me, or like maybe it was you, and it's like you showed your homeboy, or your homeboy got a video of you sent to him, and he's like, he lives with you. That man is your best
That
friend.
yeah. He should know.
And he's like, he's just so vain. He would never recognize me.
Homie, you have very identifiable tattoos, and also he's probably seen your bedroom. You good?
trying to see if someone's home. They're also renovating the apartment right there,
Oh.
so I can't tell. I'm like, or someone's breaking into my
Nah.
home. Um, yeah, so I really hated it.
Yeah, it was, I'm glad I got a enjoyable listening experience that was like funny and we got to share in
Yeah.
that together, but never again. So,
Except I did do it again. You want to know why? So, um, if you don't know, there's a TikToker named like
yeah, Deanna.
Deanna, and sorry, I work with three different like
Mm,
Deannas, and they all pronounce it differently, and I'm like, and spell it differently. I'm like, who?
amazing.
I digress. She does the one where she like tells her husband, and she's like screaming and she's like, "Don't look at me." I think she's so
She's
funny. I resonate.
hilarious.
She's so funny, and she'll read a bad book just to tell us about it, and I appreciate that.
Me too.
One of those books was The Ritual. If you want to talk about depraved Kindle Unlimited books,
Yeah.
I'm scared. So I've read four of them. Who said that?
aren't they more, like, aren't they short?
No, there's 600 pages.
Are you kidding? 600 pages?
I'm in a prison
Are the
of my own
are there
making.
like 90 chapters because they're all like 4 pages long?
No. You know what's crazy is some of the chapters it's like they're all dual POV. So some of the chapters like in the middle instead of like cutting to a chapter, they'll just be like so and so's name and then like we're still in the same chapter.
Oh.
They do it by like they do it by like scenes. Let's see. Um to my to the salon, but my library. Okay, hold on. Okay. Sorry. Doing research.
Oh no, it's okay. I just like, so I have two things. Speaking of, so for some reason the theme of like the week that I was listening to Lights Out, I was also convinced to watch the show You, which I'm sure
Oh,
most of the population has already seen all 4 seasons, but I'm always behind. Always behind. So I just started, like, Maddie and I were watching it and we finished the first season. Oh my god, stalking is the theme of like this month. Like,
no, stalking is the theme of this month. That's crazy.
I
I love that show.
I was actually really good and I'm stupid. Like, I'm dumb and I don't see like plot twist coming and I was gagged, and then we started the second season, which is good. And Nellie's in it. So, from Hill House.
Yes, yeah. I like her like Love or whatever's her name.
Yeah.
I love her in that series.
She plays a little
She's
freak
crazy.
so well. I love
She
her.
loves to be freak nasty.
Um
Okay, I don't
but yeah,
it's not
so started
telling
watching
me.
that. It's good. I do really like it. And I'm like, how the hell did I not get into this sooner? It's because I'm behind and like I can't, like, I don't really like to watch shows like alone because then I'm like, who am I going to yell at the show with?
So true. I don't know how many chapters. The chapters are not short in my opinion.
That's
They
fine.
vary in length. So how do I set this up? You've seen the videos. So
Yes.
essentially like they go to this college called Barrington University. It's a special like private college that all these billionaires kids go
Yeah.
to. There's a secret society that's essentially a fraternity called the Lords. But it's not just like, oh, a fraternity, like they kill people.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm
I
laughing.
read that one, Nocticadia, like the Rooks. They were the Plague
Yes,
Doctor
yes.
masks.
Yeah, this one they all wear masks and stuff. I think you kind of get to choose. Everyone's like a little bit different because like one guy's his is like cracked, another guy's his is mirrored,
Oh, so
which
it's
is
like a Death
fun.
Eater situation. Love that.
Yeah, yeah. And so essentially, you to be a lord, you have to come from a line of lords. So like your father had to have been one, and then you go through you have an initiation every year. So, and your first year, it's like they make you fight someone.
Mm.
The second year, they make you kill someone in front of everybody. And then the third year is usually an assignment. So they send you to go like kill someone. And
Right.
to clarify, the people they are offing um are like usually other lords who are older and have like done something to betray, like oh, how does the beginning start? Hold on. In Memento. Okay. Ah. A lord takes his oath seriously. Only blood will solidify their commitment to serve those who demand their complete devotion. He is a leader. He believes in order and knows when to rule and is a deity. Deity.
Deity.
Anyways, so like they literally think they're above everything. Like they play God essentially.
Right.
So like if you wrong someone or you're not loyal or like you're getting too big for your britches, they're like
You're done.
you're done. And some of them, like one of them, I read his third one. He didn't have to kill someone. He had to like manipulate someone. So he like
Mm.
hired this hooker to like tell this guy she was underage, and he like videoed him, and then he like stopped it before like it actually happened. He was like, if you can't like drop out of the senator race, or I'm going to show everyone that you're like trying to like assault like underage women or whatever.
Mm.
So, and all it's like most of the lords we're following come from like, you can be high ranks, like you can be all the way up to like CEOs and judges and lawyers and high up like people to like a cop. Like you're
Right.
just a cop to, and there's levels. But yeah, so and then your like senior year initiation, they brand you, and then you get like it's your senior year, you get to have fun. So for the first 3 years,
Fun. Murder.
for the first 3 years, you're supposed to like abstain from
Right.
dworking it. And sorry, I digress.
Who up playing with they worm? Not these guys.
Well, okay, technically they just can't like engage with acts with
Right.
others. They do be dworking it. They are up.
They're up. The worms are up.
So I'm gonna look this way and you're gonna look that way.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the first book, oh, and so like their senior year, along with like getting branded, they get to have a chosen. So if you come from a family of lords, the boys become lords and the women are ladies. Like you're kind of bred to be like the wives of these
Right.
people, which I'm like, we haven't hit some incest yet. Like there's only so many people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um so like a number of things can happen. You can be like a chosen, you can be like married off to someone, which is like a lady. That's really it. Or you get killed, which is probably more likely at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, your life is really expendable in this series. So, and like a chosen is, she has to go to Barrington University. Her family has to sign her up, like be like she's allowed to do
Yeah, you get
this.
like a sponsor, like an AA.
Mm-hmm. And then
Except you might die.
except the possibility of dying is not off the
Yeah.
table. And like they send out this like list to all the lords, and like the lords can take more than one chosen or whatever.
Bid
They have this
list.
whole like, sorry,
I said bid list.
literally.
Sorry, that's sick.
Because no, it's sick and twisted. And like sometimes people will like go to the lords and be like, hey, you have to take this person as your chosen.
Yeah.
But like you're not guaranteed to, like, you're not marrying this person. It's just for like senior year. And then they keep this whole ritual where like they have to basically like degrade the girl in front of everybody.
Mm.
That's not cute. And then essentially
who wrote this? Who sat down and was like, and then
I'll tell you who, because she's on my hit list. Not really. I'm kidding. Chantel Tessier.
okay.
Tessier. Um Chantel is a USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestselling author who lives in Oklahoma with her high school sweetheart.
You're telling me
Who is a
you live in
wonderful
Oklahoma?
who was a wonderful, supportive husband. She loved to spend time cut up on the couch with a good book. Going to concerts and the movies are just a few of her favorite things to do. Although she's a passionate writer, her family is most important to her. Do they know what you do
Don't
for
think
a
so.
living?
There's no way.
This wholesome little, like, she just loves spending time with her family bio. Ma'am.
Oh, you like cuddling on the couch with your high school sweetheart in Oklahoma, and you like go to family Thanksgiving, and everyone's so proud of you and your career, and then you're sitting over there like you're the shrimp thing from the Muppet shrimp thing in the TikTok. You're like,
I think the CIA is afraid of your scare tactics.
right.
Right. So, yeah, you get a chosen, and then like for that whole year, that girl's like basically like their sex slave. Yeah. So also, if you go to like Barrington University, basically, if you just pay enough money, they give you a degree. You don't have to take it seriously.
Right.
And right. So essentially, like each book is like the story about a lord and him like taking a chosen or like a wife or something. So the first one is the ritual, and that is I'm in this universe. Like you're not even ready for whatever. Okay. The ritual is sorry, let me pull up 16 devices. Okay. Just looking up their names because I don't remember them. Okay, Riot is the main character.
Right.
And
I like that name.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
I realize I really like an R name for like a man. Like Riot's a really cool name. I really love Ransom. Like I think that's epic. Anyway.
Dude, what the fuck is this girl's name?
It doesn't really matter, I guess.
I know, I'm just trying to. Okay, so Riot gets a call and he's like, "You're supposed to take this girl as your chosen." And he's like,
Okay.
"All right, like this is essentially an assignment." Um, but just because he's supposed to like take this girl as his chosen doesn't mean he's not going to do depraved, terrible things.
It's only gonna make it worse.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh, Blakey is her name.
Blakey?
So, and he calls her
Nar.
like Blake. Nar. And yeah, she has a boyfriend, Matt.
Right.
He's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, we don't like Matt.
He's kind of an asshole. And they're from Texas. She's from Dallas.
Wow.
Wow. And they've been like dating forever, and then she's basically like promised to be married to him because like they're from high powerful families, so they low-key have arranged marriages. But she's like, I don't think I love him, but like I could.
Yeah.
He's fine. He's kind of an asshole. So Riot gets this assignment to make her his chosen, and he's like, okay. So he like stalks her a little bit, like puts himself in her path. Like that's all chill. That's all like good. All above board, if you ask me.
Right. That's normal around here.
Hey, a little light stalking. Okay. He bought her curtains because she was an idiot who didn't have curtains.
Oh.
Okay. So essentially, like, she ends up becoming his chosen, and she's like, no one told her like what this was. Like, she knows about the Lords because like her parents and her family, but she's just kind of like, it's whatever. Like, it's none of my business. Good choice. Good call, Queen. Like, until you're in the middle of this shit.
Right.
And so she does the chosen thing with him, which is kind of like she doesn't really know, but then he's like, "You're mine," and she's like, "I don't know about that." He's like, "Yeah," and in this book, there's a lot of like, they're very like, spice scene forward. I'll say that. Sure, that's a terrible way to put it, but like, don't read this if you're like, I skipped the scenes. You're not reading the book, Queen.
Yeah,
you're not reading the book. There's no plot here,
sorry,
except there's more plot than lights out. So
that's saying something too. That this has more plot like, than. Yeah.
Well, it's 600 pages. I would hope so.
Yeah.
I digress. So yeah, essentially like she finds out that Matt was actually cheating on her because like he took a different chosen, or like he, I don't know, maybe he was gonna take her, but like he's been cheating on her the whole time. And um he's like, when you're
Sorry,
my
I keep
wife,
yawning.
like,
I'm not bored. I just
oh girl, I'm in my own little world being like,
the medication.
oh, he's like, when you're my wife, like I'm gonna loan you out to all my friends, like blah blah, like
Oh,
she's like, she's like, I'm gonna have a horrible life, blah blah. Um Also, Riot drugs her a lot, and she's like down. He like left something in her room. It literally was like, Allison, we're gonna like drink me, and she was like, okay, and she's like, it's probably drugs. I don't care. Oh, okay.
who
What does he
is
say? A lot of
writing
time,
this? Like I know who,
a
but
lot of,
like why?
lot of bondage, a lot of a common theme in this book is we love tying people's arms behind their back and then making them lay on their back, so like their arms are under them.
Uncomfortable.
Painful,
Yeah.
yeah, as it is described most often. So, oh, and also Matt wouldn't hook up with Blakey when they were dating. Um, I don't know why. There was like some reason, like he just wasn't going to, even though like they're supposed to get married and like have kids and stuff. He like because because he couldn't, but he never told her like, oh, I took a vow of celibacy for 3 years. Um, so she just thought he like didn't like her.
Mm.
Not the case. So, anyways, yeah, and essentially like because Matt's so mean to her and she's like kind of mad at Riot, she runs away because she's like, I'm always going to be stuck in this life of being told what to do by these like powerful men that are just assholes with too much time on their hands.
Wait, and they
And
don't do anything. I've learned from reading multiple books about like not multiple, like, a few books where they have like the secret society of like very high power male figures. These motherfuckers don't actually do anything. They just lounge around.
um they are in their senior year of college, but I will say Riot eventually does become a high powerful judge in Pennsylvania. So like they do work eventually, but like their senior year, like they're just fucking off. They don't go to classes. They're just gonna
Right. I
graduate
mean
with
the
honors.
other one that I read like that has this Nocticadia is what I'm talking about. I mean, granted, like the main guy who was in in the Rooks in the Plague Doctor, like he was a professor at the school, so like clearly he has a job, and like it's the book is like about his job and like what he studies, but it just feels not real. Like I don't know, it feels like you don't
Yeah,
actually have a degree. Like you just got handed
they
this.
yeah, and that's the whole point. It's like it's supposed to bring you
Right,
power
right.
and whatever. So she successfully runs away.
Bad idea.
But then bad idea because
He will find you,
Riot hunts her down. He hunts her down. It's scary. And then he kills someone in front of her who was attacking her. You know, he's got to protect his
as
girl.
you do.
And yeah, so she's like, "You killed someone." He's like, "I've killed a lot of people, actually. Don't bring it up." And he's like, "Oh, bad news. Bad news. You're gonna hate this one."
Yeah.
So she like runs away. He finds her after like she disappeared for like a month.
Oh.
Took a month to find her. So then he puts a tracking device in her. Like all of the lords track their chosen's like phones and stuff, and like they have cameras in their plate. Like it's really like, is that allowed? No. Um,
Wow. We need like
but then
a
like
Ring camera sponsorship for these lords.
yeah, you know how dogs get chipped?
Yeah, he chipped her.
Homegirl's chipped.
Nice.
So, which is not uncommon in this universe apparently.
Apparently, everyone got a chip.
Everyone, all the bitches chipped.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she like they take her back, and then Riot like goes to her father, and he's like, I want to marry her or whatever. And like there was like some other scene earlier where he's like, his dad's like, how much do you want for the girl? Like, how much are you willing to pay for the girl? And he's like, how much did Matt bid? And they were like, Matt bid 50 grand. And he's like,
50
fucking cheap.
grand.
Like, he's like half a million. Still lowballing it, guys. But
This is
anyways,
someone's life.
he goes to like Blakey's dad and was like, Matt's gonna treat her like shit. Like, why did you promise? And he's like, I didn't promise Blakey to Matt. Like, my wife did that. So you can have, like, I don't want your money. Like, just say you'll protect her. Like, sign this contract and, like, you can marry her. I don't care.
Right.
So they get married. Someone is here.
Is Caroline home?
I don't know. I'm also on edge because all of these books, it's like, no, Caroline is not home. I think it's just like
I think it's
those
them.
people,
Yeah.
but it's so loud. It sounds like they're in my house. I'm also on edge because I've been reading all these things and it's like, oh, they're just stalking and showing up at people's houses. And I'm like, don't come near me.
Yeah.
And basically, we come to find out that Matt tried, on an assignment with Riot, Matt tried to rape the wife of a lord. Big no no. While he was in his celibacy pledge. On a mission. They thought she died, but she didn't. She escaped. And many years later, we come to find out that Blakey's dad was having an affair with this woman because he was originally she was originally his chosen, but they married different people. And Blakey is the love child of like the affair. And
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
and so technically, like, who Blakey thinks her mom is like her stepmom, and her
Oh.
stepmom, like,
This is like that show I
apparently,
watched.
which one?
Flowers in the Attic.
Yeah, so like apparently Matt's family has no money, but Blakey's like heir to like an oil industry, like
Right.
big money in Texas or whatever. So they're like, okay, if you pay us some money for our daughter, you can have her, and then like since you're be like the man of the relationship, you can inherit the business and like reinstate your power and money.
Of
Um,
course.
and so like Matt doesn't like really care about her, but he's like playing the long game here. But Riot like doesn't care, and he's like, I don't want that for her. And so they get married, but don't tell anyone. And then like, do they kidnap her again? Or a lot of kidnapping in
Yeah.
this universe too. Um, Essentially, like, it all comes to light that like her stepmom like hates her actually because she's not a real child, and
Of course.
she was trying to like do something and it didn't work out. And like the dad and like Riot and everyone are like, and they all live happily ever after, kind of, sort of. I don't know. So there's that. That one wasn't bad. It was a good. It was good. Like, yeah, there was a lot going on. It was kind of like, oh, now we're going on all these like weird side plots, but it all made sense in the end.
Yeah.
And like, it was a little bit like depraved, but like kind of fun, kind of different. Then we get into The Sinner. Okay, same concept. Um, Sin and Riot are the same age. Yeah. So essentially, like, this is kind of happening at the same time. And Riot, Sin, and Tyson, and then the Carnage brothers all like they're all, this is all interconnected. They do appear in everyone else's books. So Sin,
Mm-hmm.
his last name's like Sinnett, and everyone calls him
I
Sin.
love that. That eats.
Yeah, it does. Um Hold on, let me was not helpful. So he takes what the fuck is this girl's name? Oh my gosh, I should have written this down. Someone just said what the fuck, 1 star. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. True. This one I really really hated this one. Because it was just it was like, you know, Colin Hoover like does these tropes and it's like, that's so insane. Like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
Um okay, Ellie. Ellington, but she goes by Ellie.
Okay.
Anyways, and he calls her like little demon because like he's the devil. Not like he doesn't say that, other people say that about him. Woo!
I hate it here.
So he takes Ellie as his chosen. Okay. It's coming back to me. He has an assignment to kill someone his like junior year, no, his like sophomore year.
Uh-huh.
So he goes and he kills this guy, this lord, older, and it's Ellie's stepdad, and she sees him do it, but he's wearing a mask.
Right.
He's whatever. And so then after like he's like, don't fucking tell anyone, and he like takes her back to her room because it's like they're having a big party at like their house, and he proceeds to insert his weapon places because so he is in celibacy, but like he for like 2 years, like as the masked man, comes back and like pleasures her. They have like a thing going. She's no idea it's Sin, and like they're childhood friends, like their families are friends. Like she knows Sin,
Mm.
and so then he takes her as his chosen, and like she doesn't know that like Sin and the
I think are
masked
the
guy are
same.
different
Yeah.
people. So then he like reveals it to her. It's like like we're like maybe like 100 pages in. This book moves like all the books move fast,
Yeah.
but it's 600 pages, so there's just so much going on for 600 pages. So then she's kind of like, I hate you, because like she's kind of mad about it. Um, but the other thing is she has a lot of trauma from her
Mm.
childhood. Her mother's a sex therapist. Sure. And at a very young age, she like her mom's practice was in the house. It was like in a different, it was like in a different wing or something. So like people never came through their house, but like they could get there from there. So she would sit outside her mom's door and like listen
Right.
to the sessions. And her she loved her dad, but like her dad like committed suicide when she was like 13, I think.
Right.
And then like she got, and like when, if you're a lady and your lord gets killed or dies or whatever, you get gifted to another lord.
Right.
Right. So like her stepdad comes in and he's like another lord and like whatever. Catches her listening to these sessions and starts grooming her.
No, 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 no.
And then like at 16 takes her virginity and like just basically like depraved shit. And then like he also lets like one or two of his like friends in on it,
No.
and so she's always like drinking or like doing drugs because she's just like, I hate my life, I want to forget.
Right.
And but he'll like take advantage of her when she does that too, because he's like, are you on drugs? He's like, you need to learn a lesson. And then like um and so what I really don't like is that Sid knows this, like he is aware that she like I think he comes to find out like pretty soon into like choosing her, that this like I think he kind of knew, but I'm pretty sure like whoever tasked her, I think someone also tasked him with like making her his chosen, or oh no, he didn't, he took a chosen, but like didn't go to the ceremony, and it's like this random girl he doesn't like, so he's
Mm.
like what, you don't have to like only hook up with your chosen, like you just are like not under the celibacy pledge. So he's like, I guess at least not technically his chosen, my bad.
Mm.
And so he like knows about her trauma and all that, and there's another lord, he's like the house dad, but he's older.
House
It's like a
dad.
shitty position, like it's a bad position, like you're a low level lord.
Yeah.
But he is set to marry Ellie's mom now that the stepdad's dead.
Oh.
And he also was in on the stepdad's little like grooming
Yeah.
situation. And so she's terrified of this guy and she like fucking hates him. And then also his like nephew or something used to watch because he was like a lord, so he like technically was in celibacy pledge. And he promised, the new stepdad promised marriage to her to his nephew, so they could like take advantage of her and like keep their fortune in their business or whatever. And she's like,
No.
no. And Sin's like, I'm not gonna let that happen. That's, she's mine now.
No.
And um she gets kidnapped, and we like learn more about her past and how that all went down and who's involved. Plot twist: her father's not dead. He had a twin brother. They
Oh.
killed the they killed the twin brother. They sent her dad to Carnage. Okay, bear with me. Carnage is essentially like a scary jail psych ward that's run by three lords
I
called the Carnage
want to
brothers.
go.
Everyone's no.
I want to go to there.
Everyone's like, you don't come out of there alive. Like these are the scariest men known. Like lords don't even like going there. They're like,
Hot. I'm gonna read that. Is that a separate series or is?
they do have their own books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So everyone's terrified of them. Like they do, and they detail some of the they do. Like they're not like having fun. Like they are just torturing people.
Oh, okay.
They're like, oh, they love that shit. So scary badman, but they help their friends, and they're friends with Riot, Sin, and Tyson. Well, they're friends with Tyson, and then like they help Sin and Riot out sometimes because they're friends with Tyson. He comes on later.
I hate the name Tyson. That's awful. What are you, a chicken tender? Like I just.
No. Exactly. Um. So, yeah, she gets like kidnapped. Sin gets her back. Um. Yeah, they figure out that whole plot with the parents and like what they're doing, and they end up killing the mom. No, they send the stepmom and they send the mom and the stepdad to Carnage. Like they're being tortured for the rest of their life until they, decide to kill them. And yeah, so she gets her dad back, and her and Sin get married, and all of these books have two epilogues at the end. They have like a right after epilogue, and then they have an 18 years later where like they have kids and they're like talking about like, and they're all friends. Like all the kids know each other.
Oh.
Oh, so I'm like, do they get a book? Like what
No.
is happening? So like basically all the kids are high school seniors and they're about to go to Barrington. So like some of them are deciding to be L.O.R.S or like go somewhere else or like blah blah. Nothing crazy. We don't know a lot. Um yeah, I didn't like that one because it's like she had a lot of trauma from her past, and I feel like we did not care about that.
No.
And he said, I don't give a fuck. He did care about it, but then he would still do like depraved shit to her, and it's like, hey, I'm not saying we have to like up to her, but like you don't need to like coddle her, but like maybe this is a bit much.
Right.
I feel like maybe she's having a PTSD moment. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe we should check on her.
So but she's like, I'm so happy. I'm like, are you? I'm feeling some Stockholm syndrome here.
Yeah.
Okay, then right no, then there's what's the next book? I'd be cranking through these, but they're so bad.
Yeah.
They're so bad, but they're so good. Okay, then like the first one was like fun, and the second one I was like, this is traumatic. Like I'm scared for everyone here. And then the third one is The Sacrifice, which is Tyson, and I just read this one. Like I just finished this yesterday or something. What the fuck is her name? Cause oh my god. Okay, yeah. No, what? This is Sacrifice. Stop. This is Tyson and Easton? No, sorry. Sinnett's first name is Easton,
Uh.
and his last name's Sinnett, and everyone just calls him Sin. So that was. What is this girl's name? Guys, you're giving terrible reviews. Oh, Lake. Her name's
Lake.
Lakin,
Oh.
and everyone calls her Lake.
Lake.
We really said, yeah, we nailed these rich people names. Like, this is real as fuck.
Yeah.
So, Lake is the younger sister of Whitney. Whitney was Tyson's chosen. Whitney died.
Good night, Whitney.
Good night, Whitney.
What was... Oh no, Melanie. She was really nice.
Nice. Yeah. Except, anyways. So Tyson gets an assignment to take Whitney as his chosen, but like she's kind of lying to him, and like she's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, you shouldn't be. That was not the deal.
Yeah.
Um, and then everyone's like, oh, she had a stalker, whatever. Well, one day he like we figure this out later, but I'm gonna tell it chronologically. One day she disappears for like a weekend, like she's mad at him and he's like, whatever. And then he's like, no, I'm getting worried now. She's not like responding to me. And like, where the
Right.
fuck is she? He finds her, she's like bloody beaten up, like doubly assaulted. And he like takes her to the hospital and they're like, she's dead. And then like her family comes in, like Lake and the mom, and they're like, you killed her. And he's like, I
Nah.
just found her. Um, but so he gets arrested and he calls in a favor because he's like, what the fuck? Like you told me to do this, like to the lords, like the higher there's like higher up, higher being lords, and no one knows who they are. Like they always show up in their masks, but they give orders.
Right.
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 As a secret society goes. And he's like, you gave me these orders or whatever. And they're like, they get him out of jail, like they get him out clean, and they're like, we didn't give you those orders. I don't know who the fuck gave you those orders. And they're like, you got tricked, homie.
Yeah.
That's on you.
You're on pranked.
So he's like, okay. They're like, we can't. He was supposed to be like the CEO of this big company, but now that his like name's all over the news and like bad things happen, they're like, we can't give you that anymore. And he's like, okay, fine. I'll take Blackout, this like 4-story nightclub in the little college town. He's like, I'll own and run Blackout. That's my shit.
That's epic. Okay, so
But
Tyson is us.
but Dyson runs Cake Bar.
He does.
And he's like, but when the time comes, I get to choose whoever I want to marry. Because in this world, there's a lot of arranged marriages. He's like, whoever and whenever I want. And they're like, deal.
Right.
He sits on this for 3 years. He's just running Blackout. He's helping his homies riot and sin in the carnage. Like, they're just
Right.
kikiing out here.
Oh, God. Not the
And
Kiki.
Okay, then it comes around that Lake is supposed to marry. What the fuck was that guy's name? Fuck asshole. I don't know.
Matthew? I don't know.
No, it's something else. She's supposed to marry this like guy, and she doesn't really like him, but she's like been promised to him for like the last 3 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
They promised him to like her at like 18, and like they weren't supposed to get married till she was 21 or something like that, and she's supposed to remain a virgin. It was like this whole plot point. She's supposed to remain a virgin. They made her like dye her hair blonde. Like her dad and the man she was supposed to marry, like they made her get a boob job. They like made her dye her hair blonde because she looked too much like her sister who died.
Right.
And they made her do like all these things to be like a Barbie doll. And she's like, I hate the way I look. They made me like get a personal trainer. Like they bought the size of my wedding dress like a size smaller than I am, so I had to like lose all this weight.
Oh.
But she's already like skinny.
Right.
And so she's like, my life is just gonna be like these men telling me what to do, but like what am I gonna do? Because like they're powerful and like whatever. So she's like literally going to walk down the aisle, and Ty shows up, and she's like, the man who killed my sister? I don't think so. And he's like, I think the fuck I will. So they get married.
Oh.
He's like, and you will. He was like, either you have your brother walk you down the aisle to me and you marry me, or I'll put a collar and a leash on you and you can crawl. And she was like, and I'll be walking. Thank you.
Oh.
See you down there. And so she does it. And then she's like, and like basically the whole time he's like, this is just revenge. Like this was a long-term plot. And you're like, don't make this girl didn't do anything. Leave the bitch alone. So he makes her work as a cocktail waitress in the nightclub.
Slay.
And then he also like does all these things. She just like doesn't understand it, and he like keeps secrets from her, and she's like, I don't get why you're doing this to me. Come to find out, someone kidnaps her.
Yeah.
Okay, girls have been disappearing from the nightclub, and then not turning up, or like one of them turned up dead. And specifically had like she was like killed in a very certain way that like during Tyson, because Tyson's like older now, during Tyson's senior year there was girls disappearing, or junior year, girls disappearing, and they were ending up the same way that this girl was. It was like this like serial murderer.
Oh my god, that's exactly the plot of this Hermione fan fiction. The one that I was like almost crying on your couch to. It's that idea of like there's these serial murders that are going on and they're like happening in the same way. Anyway, not relevant.
Yeah, like these girls are disappearing. So like his junior year assignment was to like go lure this like murderer out and like attack his family essentially
Right.
because like the mom was helping the murderer like lure these girls. Except they couldn't figure out who it was. Like the guy never showed. He didn't fail the assignment, but like
Mm.
they never figured out. He stopped killing people for a while.
Right.
He So now he's married to Lake. Like the girls are disappearing again. She gets kidnapped. He's like, basically, we figure out that Lake's father, her brother, and then the guy she was supposed to marry were running a human trafficking
Oh
business.
no.
Yeah, because her father owns all these international hotels everywhere. So like essentially they were like using that to like ship girls around. Um, and not like random girl. Like they were picking up like people's billionaire kids.
Yeah.
And so they like kidnap Lake and they're like, oh my god, she's gonna die. Like, and essentially the reason that like she was supposed to be a virgin on her wedding night was because they were going to traffic her. And like Tyson came in and saved her. He knew he was saving her, but he hadn't put all the pieces together, but he knew that like they were gonna sell her off for some reason.
Yeah.
And so he's like, technically I saved her, but he's like kind of mean to her all the
Mm.
time. We don't know why, but then he's like, oh, just kidding, I fell in love with you. You've been nothing but crazy.
You've been nothing but mean and awful and mentally ill since I met you. And this is what you have to offer me?
And so he saves her. He then takes her to so like she's super like kind of beat up and whatever. And they can't take so they also have this lord named Gavin and he's a doctor. And he basically like you call Gavin and Gavin
No.
comes and helps fixes you
Yeah.
up because he's like you can't go to a regular hospital.
Right, because how do you explain this to like the regular like urgent care down the road?
Yeah, urgent care is going to be concerned. Gavin,
Not
don't give a fuck.
not concerned in the slightest.
Gavin said, "I don't need to know why you're here. I just need to know what happened so I can fix it."
Yeah.
Gavin really like he a real one. He is holding this group of people together
Like
single-handedly. Like
actually, he's
he's
actually holding them together because their bones are coming off their body.
literally. Oh, might I add, when they kidnapped Lake, so she was like went to work at the nightclub,
Right.
and then like they like dragged her away, but they burned down the nightclub and tried to make it look like she was inside the nightclub. But
Mm.
Tyson knew better, and so he's like scorched earth, like going after people who were there, like trying to figure out like where they took her, find her. They take her to Carnage because they have a full hospital, like
Right.
kind of in the building because they call it like its own little like village town.
Mm.
Um,
Oops.
because like the brothers run it and they have like their own hospital and like
Right.
we don't know how we got here, but we let them have it and we don't go in.
Mm-hmm.
So they take her and they like nurse her back to health. She's pregnant. Also Blakey and Ellie make like all the couples make an appearance in this one. Like they all go to some party together and like both Ellie and Blakey are pregnant and then now she's pregnant. So like that's why all their kids are like the same ages in the epilogue. Yeah,
So
don't worry
I'm
about
just
that.
like
So it's not like a huge plot point. Like always at the end of the book, they're like they got pregnant.
yeah, like we all knew that was coming, but I'm just like
So yeah. Well, comes to find out, also helping run the human trafficking ring, Whitney, not dead.
whoa.
Didn't die. That one kind of threw me off because I was like, for sure she's dead. No. Um, and so then like Lake goes to talk to her. She's like tied like Whitney's tied up at Carnage because obviously she like and so yeah, they kidnapped Lake again because they still were gonna try and sell her. And yeah, she goes to talk to Whitney and then like she realizes that Whitney's like a horrible person and that she never wants to talk to her again. And yeah, I think that's everything that happens in that book. Except, okay, run it back. Remember when I was like, oh, he had this thing and he was trying to lure out this murder, so he killed the murderer's family?
Hmm.
Well, there was the mom, And then there was the stepsister that they didn't know about, but the stepsister was also like the half sister of one of the Carnage brothers, and like one of the Carnage brothers, they're not real brothers, they just call them that, and was one of the brothers chosen. So instead of killing her, they gave her back to the brothers. Like that's why Ty and the Carnage brothers are like homies. They gave her back, and they held her at Carnage and like took care of her, but then she like did them dirty and ran away, which is rare. Like people don't normally leave their
Right.
franchise. And so like these three men, terrifying, genuinely scary people. Want like I don't even know how to explain this. And so, but they've been like they've never been the same since she like screwed him over and ran away. And they've like I'm feeling love triangle going on, but I don't know because one of them's technically her half brother. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what happened, but they do have a book that explains it. But Whitney, to prevent herself from being killed, goes, I know where Ashton is. And they all,
What?
and so they like, yeah, we're going to torture that one out of you. CIA waterboarding?
You're
You
next.
wish. You fucking
Yeah.
wish. So I think I'm reading, so there's, that was the first three books. And then right now I'm reading a novella. And then there's two more books, which I think are about the Carnage brothers. So there's 6 books total. Um, yeah. Also, yeah, I just can't even explain everything. There's just too much going on. So, yeah, the book I'm reading now. So, Ty, as part of the nightclub, has 4 boys who are not lords, but they went to Barrington and they come from like good families, work for him at the club slash like they're his goons.
Right. Epic.
And
I need
they're not
goons.
lords, but yeah, but Tyson kind of like initiated them and like basically he's like, I'll fucking kill you if you screw me over. And they're like, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So the novella is about them, but more specifically like one of them and his stepsister. And we watch Cruel Intentions.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, they're not related at all. I'm only halfway that this one's only 200 pages.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm like, stop hurting these girls. I
I
don't
just
care if
don't
you
really
think they
understand where people get like where in your brain were you like, I'm going to write this. This isn't I need to write this.
I don't know. And here's the thing, like I get it. People have preferences and sure, but it to me it's not like, oh, like their arms are tied behind their back or like we're doing, we're kind of being like dominant. It's the like she has genuine trauma from being groomed by her stepfather and we're really ignoring that one.
Right.
Like that was giving Colleen Hoover DV anti-awareness, if you will.
Mhm.
So yeah, and they're just so long, and then like there's always the plot twist, and I'm like, it's all gonna be fine. But like to be fair, a lot of these plot twists, like I'm usually always trying to figure out what's gonna happen. Like I can't clock any of these
Yeah.
motherfuckers. So I just want to be done with it because I do want to know what happened to the 3 brothers and the girl. I have a feeling they find her again. That's terrifying. Um, I would not recommend this to people. This is so bad.
This is not really, it's kind of on topic of like depraved like books. So when you sent me that one, the like her telling her husband about these books, like
Yeah.
another series kind of came on my For You page, and it's like more mafia, so like kind of a similar idea of like these like really
Yeah.
high power men, but I think this is specifically a mafia romance series. um and the series is called Legacy of Gods, and the first one, there's a 4-star review. This is someone gave this 4 stars. They're joking and being silly, I hope. um so basically we have these two characters, Killian, which also an epic name, but Killian spelled
Yeah.
K-A, or whoa, Killian, not like Killian Murphy. And then Glyndon. That's the girl. And so I was like,
Spell that.
um, Glyndon. Whatever.
Man.
Um,
We're gonna move on.
so I was like trying, because people were talking about this one. I think it's the 5th book in the series. That's not this one. I'm reading the review for the 1st book in the series because I assume they're just all interconnected mafia books. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll read it because it's like funny and I love to laugh. But apparently these two characters, so like the love interests, Killian and Glyndon, meet when he corners her on the edge of a cliff and forces her to decide between either you can give me a blowjob right now, A, B, I'm going to rape you on this cliffside, or C, I'm going to pummel you off the cliffside.
Yeah.
And then with your dead body, I'm going to like do some fuck shit.
You know, 3 great options. How was one to
I don't
choose?
know. And I'm just like, where it brings me back to where are we getting these ideas of like, this is what we're writing. We're putting pen to paper and this is what we're choosing to write. And I might read it. I don't know, but
No, and like that's the thing is like I read all these series and there is some people like I don't kink shame whatever, but also really?
right.
Are you okay? I don't know.
How much is how long is this first one? Right. So the first book in the series is 576 pages.
Light read.
Light read.
Light work.
And then the second one I guess is around the same. Okay. Mafia Princess.
And
Oh, her name is
why?
Annika. I like that.
You know what's crazy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I sent you those videos of Deanna
Uh-huh.
like explaining this ritual series that I read. And in those explainer videos where she like gives you the story, that is only the first 100 pages.
Yeah, I felt like I was reading the whole book.
I thought it was going to be like that too. And then when I was at 100 pages and I was like, so everything she just told me happened. What the fuck is happening in the next
Yeah.
500 pages? And that's where we got into this girl's not really your daughter and so and so's kidnapped you and they were going to sell you. Huh? What? And you know what's crazy is like all these crazy people they're like all these lords hate their wives and they just get tortured and passed around and whatever and then they're like but my husband like he
He
loves
loves
me
me.
and he would never let another man touch me and it's true like they don't
Right.
but how did the 3 of y'all figure that
Right.
just, really you're kind of painting a weird picture here lack of consistency dare I say
I
anyways
also on my TBR I added 2 books that have Hades as a main character. I don't know where it's coming from. But it's like I don't know. He's the god of the underworld. In my brain he's really hot. I don't know. That's a random tangent that I don't need to go on and I don't know why I brought it up, but
it's okay yeah I feel like I've been getting into these weird depraved books, really straying from the path here, but I'm not enjoying them.
that's okay.
Like I'm not like I'm reading some people's reviews and some people are like this is just actually like insane. And then other people are like, "Oh my god, like I want a man." I'm like,
Huh?
"Do we read the same book?" I definitely am not like, "Oh, this is so good. Like this is really fulfilling like a want in my life."
No.
Like I said, I'm a very curious and inquisitive person, so I do want to know what happens. I'm just not enjoying it.
Right.
I'm scared. And I feel like as they go along, they get worse.
Yeah.
Like the first one, I was like, okay, little freaky, little different. Not mad. The second one, I was like, I'm
I'm
concerned,
concerned.
girl.
Yeah. This is a
The third
problem.
one, yeah. The third one, I was like, okay, plot, a lot of plot here. Enjoying that. Love a plot. We learned a lot, but also at the same time, are we okay? So I'm really, really, really scared for the Carnage Brothers book because they're supposed to be like the
Like,
craziest, most like they keep saying like they're the craziest, most depraved, like scariest, like you don't want to be on their bad side. I'm like,
scare.
but we've already learned so much about everyone else.
Yeah.
What?
What possibly could they do?
I don't know. So I'll get back to you. I really want to finish this series before the end of the year because if I go into 2025 and I have to read another one of these
Right.
books, still. Although it takes me like 3 or 4 days to read each of them because they're
Like, yeah.
600 pages. Good. Yep. All on the same page there. Um, so we'll see. Except I'm like halfway through this 200-page book. So like really only have like 1,200 pages left of the series, if that makes sense. Anyways. Except I haven't checked the page count for the other ones.
Mm.
So I'm just hoping they're like not any longer.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself.
It's fun. I really like to hear about it. So then I don't have to
Yeah,
read that.
it's fun. It's definitely fun. Like I know I'm like not loving it, but I'm having fun.
Right.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive,
No.
if you ask me. So I don't know. Yeah, need to. These are all TBRs, like all of that.
So when I traveled home, I brought my Kindle with me because that's like obviously where the Hermione fanfiction is, and that's where I was reading Metal Slinger because I don't think it's traditionally published at this time. You can buy from Amazon, but like it's on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna read it on Kindle because man, whatever. Um, so I only brought my Kindle home with me. Didn't bring any like physical books, but I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I should, maybe bring like one or two physical books that are on my TBR. Did not, because none of them are interesting me at this time. And it's just
Yeah,
unfortunate because if you look at all of them on my shelf, they all have a little bookmark in it where I've tried to start them and they're all like slivers in. Like, and
that's some of these are
it's just
like that.
upsetting me because like I have um Long Live Evil on my, yeah, and it's really hard to get into because
Oh
I was
no!
hoping it
Oh
would be more,
no!
and maybe it will be like more assistant to the villain vibes. But then I
Mm.
was going through when I was trying to decide if I was going to bring any physical books home with me. I was reading more reviews on like Goodreads because I do love the Fable app. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes Goodreads just like it's more direct and to the point.
I like the Fable app for like my bookkeeping, but I find reading other people's reviews it's way easier on Goodreads.
Exactly. So I was reading people's reviews on Goodreads and I'm starting to maybe realize that this book was marketed maybe not well,
Like really well, but like inaccurate.
inaccurately to the people who would probably pick up this book. It's not marketed towards it. It's marketed in a way of like, this is a really cool fantasy where she gets to go and live out the story of her favorite book, but she gets put in the like part of the villain, not the hero or not the like princess or whatever. She gets, you know, she's the villain.
Yeah, seems fun.
Seems so fun. The character archetypes are just not something that I would read.
Mm.
Which just sucks because it's like, oh, I thought like, okay, she's the villain, and then like she's gonna fall for like the emperor, who's like the king guy, like the hot love interest. Then I read the words like sapphic romance, which if you don't know what that means, it's like lesbian people. Um, no hate, no hate, just not something I read.
Didn't know
Didn't
that.
know that.
I'll probably still read it.
I really don't know if I'm gonna pick it up.
What's that book that's like this is gonna be fun or whatever, and it's like the three warriors all have to attend the same wedding, and they used to be best friends, but now they're not friends anymore, but they have to attend the wedding. And it's like it's a really cute
I
cover,
know
and every time
exactly
I
what you're
go,
talking about. It's like a green, cutie little cover. Yes, I keep seeing that and I'm like, it looks so cutie. And then I'm like,
Every time I pick it up and I read the back, I'm like,
I don't wouldn't like this.
every time I see it, I'm
Same.
like, no.
Same. I do the same thing.
But they really got me with that art.
I just like don't judge a book by its cover, but like they did a good
I'm going
job.
to.
But yeah, I just really don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this Long Live Evil because it's just, and it's like for the girls who like always fall for the villain, like that's like the dedication or whatever. And I'm like, that's me. Like, but it's not seeming that way because she's the villain. So who is falling for, like, you know, if she's the villain, usually it's like, I'm the girl
It's the
falling
friends.
falling for the villain, and the villain is
Yeah.
like the guy.
Maybe the villain's the friends we made
Maybe
along
the
the
villain. Yeah,
way.
I just
Maybe the love story's the friends we made along the
right.
way.
I'm like, where's the like? They're like, oh, it's like a Romeo and Juliet. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know. It's not marketed well. I don't think. I think we just need to
Yeah,
get better
yeah.
at book marketing and being like, these are the things that are actually going to be in here. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the publishing industry has seen a massive change in recent years due to social media and people engaging with reading again
Right.
in that space. Or like more widespread. Like there's, but
Mm.
yeah. So
Like
they've
this.
just been I think it's a learning experience that they're really going through.
Yeah. Like this person's
Where they're
review
like
is
this
like, I don't really think this is a good book. Like the pacing's not great. The characters are kind of bland and like lack complexity. And I'm like, oh
great,
yeah, that
great.
really kind of turned me off.
Well,
Yeah, they're like the beginning was
we'll
pure
see.
torture to get through.
Great, great,
It
great.
also people were saying it's like very meta because she knows she's been transported into this book.
Yeah, I thought that was the whole plot.
Yeah, but I think people don't like that it's meta because it's like
Oh.
she's using words in this fantasy world. She's like being like, "Oh, slay," and it's like we're in medieval
She's
England,
me though.
right?
That'd be me.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find this one review that I read that I was like, oh, I don't think so. Yeah,
Well,
people are like, oh, it's very meta and I loved it. And then other people are like, it's very meta and I actually hated it. No plot.
no plot. Raw. Next question.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
don't know.
Well, that'll bring us up to today, I think.
Yeah.
Let's never wait this long again.
No, now I'm tired.
Yeah, now I'm sleepy. Well, I would love to check in next week and see what everyone's looking forward to in the new year, what some of our goals are.
Oh yeah, goals, aspirations. There's so many like good books actually coming out next year that I'm very excited for.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna have to keep me informed on what those are.
I'm gonna have to go make another list or something because I
Yeah.
remember a few. There's two really good ones coming out on April 8th. I know that, and I cannot remember what they are. I think one of them is Fearless. That's the third one in Powerless.
Still waiting.
Oh, God. That's another one that I'm like, I'm scared. But I hope it'll be good because the way Reckless ended was very like,
I think it was like first book was good, second book was bad, and then the third book's gonna
good.
be good
Yeah.
again. I'm chasing that Vow of Thieves,
Yeah,
Gangs
yeah,
of
yeah.
Thieves high again. Those were such good
I know you
books.
like loved those. And I'm not judging.
Yeah,
I thought they were great. But like
really into it.
Lucy is like really into that world.
Yeah, count me in. And I just yeah. So, bye
Bye,
everybody.
Podience.